So, bits of history. My name is Stuart Wood, and today we're talking about ghosts. That's why I've got my hood on for some reason. That's why it's quite dark in here. I've got just a lamp, because we're gonna create the mood, set the scene. Should have been the other way around. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take my hood off as well. But basically, we're going to talk about the nature of ghosts, like why they're supposedly a part of history, and a few encounters that I've had, and a couple of stories. So I've I had a conversation with this man, this gentleman, who shall go unnamed because of his stupidity. But yeah, so he shall go unnamed. But basically, he asked me why I was into history, and I said because history is fantastic. You know, it's so deep. There's so much that we did in the past, which greatly affects what happens today. And I think people in history genuinely are more interested than people of today. You know, we have everything today. They didn't, but these are the people that created everything that we have today. So it's important stuff. We need to learn it. And he said, no, history is just all about wars. Whenever you learn history, it's just wars, people being killed over something. And I said, well, not really, because you've got stuff like art history, you've got cultural history, you've got religious history. You've also got, like, even now, you've got, like, the history of cars and things like that. And he was adamant at the fact that, no, history solely, it's just all about wars. So he's wrong on that. But it did get me thinking, though, like, ghosts. Do we have, are they a part of history? What got me into history in the first place was basically ancient Greek mythology. From ancient Greek mythology, I started looking up a bit like about ancient Rome, their mythos, because it's similar. I also looked into the ancient Egyptian mythology, and then from there I got into theology, like looking up Christianity and Islam and Judaism and things like that. So, and I found it all really interesting, and then that got me into, looking up, the actual lives of people from history, like in ancient Greece and Rome, the Byzantine Empire and stuff like that. So that's where my interests all came from. Ghosts, where do they fit into history? Well, they don't. Right? They don't fit into history. They fit into theology or mythology, because there's something that we have believed in, which there's no evidence to support their existence. So they're not a part of science, which we don't talk about science, we talk about history, and they're not part of the broader spectrum of history, because they literally are just involved in the belief systems and stuff like that. So again, it's theology. I'm sure I could have explained that a lot better, but I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't been up for that long. So my experience with ghosts. When I was younger, I was in year 6 at the time. I think you were about 10 in year 6. We was taken to the Tower of London. Now, I used to be religious, because the junior school that I went to was called William Ford Church of England Junior School. So I used to believe in God. I guess you could say I was a Protestant. Like, I wasn't a devout, die-hard Christian like the way they teach you in Catholicism. I wasn't God-fearing. I was more relaxed about it. I did believe in God, and when we were taken to the Tower of London, I can remember this one special bit where they took us into the Bloody Tower, and they said that sometimes, the rocking chair that's in the Bloody Tower, it was like it will just move by itself, and I thought I saw it. So now, not only as a child was I religious, I was also batshit scared of ghosts. The Tower of London is supposed to be haunted by a number of ghosts. Now, all of these are like historical people, but I'm not counting this as history, because there's no such thing as ghosts. So, like, you've got Sir Thomas More, who is supposed to haunt it. You've got the likes of Anne Boleyn, who was beheaded. So I can't remember whether she walks around with a head or whether she walks around with a head tucked under her arm. Who knows? But you've got, like, the other one, uh, Bloody Mary is supposed to haunt it. Now, the reason why I bring her up, Mary first, the first queen of England. I should probably remember that considering I'm from there. She's Mary Tudor, yeah. She is the oldest child of Henry VIII. Now here I've got a mirror because the other thing about Mary Tudor, or the name that we mainly know her as is Bloody Mary, is that if you say her name 3 times in the mirror, she will kill you in some way. Now this myth, it's one of those where there's one constant in the story, which is you've got to say her name 3 times in a mirror. Yeah, that's the constant. With the other stuff, I've heard so many different rumors of how she'll kill you. Like if you there's another one where if you say like when the next time you walk upstairs, then she'll push you back down them, or she'll be waiting at the end of your bed, where she'll kill you, or she'll cause you to lose a child. Well, I don't have any children, so if it's that one, we're not going to get any good results. But I have to walk up and downstairs to work. Also, my I'm recording right next to my bed right now. You can see my bed's quite messy. I'm a bloke. It's got to be. So if this works, because I'm going to go with the bed idea, then hopefully you'll just see her face appear in, well, I'm trying to angle my hand over here anyway, in this corner. Yeah. So ghosts. Also, you never know, we might even see faces in the background, which will then cause me to shit myself, because I can currently see them whilst I'm recording, and then I'll be a believer. But, so we're going to do it. We're going to do it, right? So, I could see you in the mirror looking at me, or me looking at me. Right, so let's just do it then. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Now, I don't really know the rules around this Bloody Mary bullshit, right? I've looked straight into my eyes. I don't know whether it's supposed to look around the mirror or something. But I've done it 3 times in the mirror. That's the constant, yeah? So if I die, ignore everything I've said in this episode. So, the last thing I want to do, whilst we wait for her to appear at the end of my bed, is send in, your stories. Have you seen ghosts? Have you got any local stories from your area? Have you seen anything? Have you been to the Tower of London and seen anything there? Or are you, like me, non-believing that kind of thing? And explain why. So this has been Bits of History. We today have talked about the nature of ghosts and why they're not history. So, yeah. We've got one podcast episode out right now, the Bits of History podcast. We've got an episode about Frank Sinatra. We've also recorded an episode about a pirate known as Black Bart, who was Bartholomew Roberts. That was his real name. That will be up by next Sunday. We're going to be recording a special episode as well, which will be up in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, look forward to that. Like, if you want to reach us, if you want to contact us, you can go to the Facebook page. It's Bits of History. Just type Bits of History into the Facebook search bar, and you can also email us at bitsofhistory2014@gmail.com. Yeah. So also leave some comments on here if you like. Share it, like it, do whatever you want to it. Yeah. Subscribe and peace out. So yeah, stay safe, people.